When I was 17, I failed my driver's license test 4 times.
Dancer and choreographer Derek Hough starred in the West End production of Footloose the musical before joining the cast of Dancing with the Stars. He's danced his way to wins with Brooke Burke, Nicole Scherzinger, and Jennifer Grey on the hit reality show and is gearing up to star in his first feature film, Kobu.
When I was 17, I couldn't focus on one thing at a time. I was just wanting to do everything. I wanted to play music, I wanted to dance, I wanted to sing. So I was never just chilling and relaxing. I was always doing something. When I was 17, my hair used to be really long because I wanted to be Kurt Cobain, and it was really like down to here and, you know, blonde.
I just remember it used to be poofed out and flicked up, and it didn't move.
It was like a lion's mane. When I was 17 years old, I was traveling around the world dancing, and I went to the World Youth Latin American Championships in the Czech Republic and just kind of went out there and just danced my butt off. We ended up winning, which was such a huge surprise, and I was so excited that I actually ran out and I jumped off this like huge flight of stairs, which was like 10, 15 steps. And in the middle of the air, I was like, wait a minute, this was so not cool. I'm like, ah, and I fell, did like a parkour roll. Yeah, I think the audience was like, yeah, oh, he's fine, yeah. I ended up injuring my pride when I jumped off that flight of stairs. I was kind of like thinking I was really cool. Man, I should just not think I'm cool anymore because I always do stupid things.
Years later in 2002, Derek developed a taste for The Used.
When I was 17, my favorite band was The Used. I just loved the music. It was so raw and I just connected with it. It was like my soundtrack for that whole time. When I was 17, I lived in London with Corky and Shirley Ballas, who were at the time, you know, one of the best coaches in the world for Latin American dancing. And they had a son, Mark Ballas, and Mark and I became best friends. And one day, Mark and we decided to start a band.
The band. I had earplugs. I had earmuffs.
We were always just being crazy and having fun and just kind of mimicking our favorite artists and whatnot. There was one gig that really was a lot of fun. It was just a bunch of school kids. I remember playing the drums, looking over and seeing this girl, and I was like, oh man, she's kind of cute. Hey, how you doing?
And Derek was always showing off. He would always like flip the sticks and like throw it up and be like, you know what I mean, like with his cheesy face.
So I decided, God knows why, to stand on my stool and do like a spin, because that's cool.
He stands up on the drum stool like halfway through a song. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
And it kind of clicked, and it stopped, and I literally fell over my entire drum kit. Cymbals flying, tom-toms flying off.
Like it was out of a movie. It was really funny. Like everyone in the audience was laughing.
Needless to say, I didn't get her number, and I don't blame her.
Years later in 2002, Derek laughed until he cried.
My favorite TV show then and still is now pretty much is Family Guy. I remember seeing it for the first time, and I had to stop it. I was crying so hard on the kitchen floor, laughing. It hurt so bad. When I was 17, I lived in London, and in England, you can't drive until you're 17 years old. You can't even begin to learn how to drive until you're 17 years old. And that infuriated me, knowing that my friends in America were already driving, and they're like 15 with their provisional license. I was always traveling, and I never had time to learn and do all that, the tests and all that stuff. So when I eventually found the small amount of time that I had, I wasn't very prepared.
Derek had a few problems for passing his driving test. One, I think, was because his concentration span was that of a pea, very small.
My first test, I looked over there's a car coming in way over yonder in the distance, and I pulled out, and the guy was like, you just failed. I was like, why did I fail? He's like, because you obstructed the car. I was like, no, I didn't. The thing was like 2 miles back. Are you kidding me? I just don't think he liked Americans.
The English don't hate Americans. Derek did not pass because he's a terrible driver.
I took my driver's test again. The guy told me, he goes, all right, now listen to everything I say and do as I say. I was like, okay. Turn left. I'll turn left. You just failed. I was like, why? He's like, because there's a no turn left here. I was like, but you told me to turn left. He's like, aha, but it was a trick. I was like, you little, oh. So I actually ended up failing my test 4 times.
I think he kept failing because he's a terrible driver.
Eventually I passed, so thanks.
Let's see how you do on this When I Was 17 pop quiz. How did Derek Huff end up crashing into his drum set while performing with his band when he was 17? Did he get tackled by an audience member, fall while trying to impress a girl, or trip over a